What is trust? Trust is the firm belief in the ability, the truth, the accountability or strength of someone or something. In contrast, the breakdown in trust is due to a lack of competency, a lack of character, or both. This is Clyde, a 22-year-old Harris hawk. Harris hawks are from the desert Southwest, Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, down into Central and South America. And here we go. Now, when we think about birds of prey, in general, they're non-social animals, which means that they live a life alone or with a mated pair, but seldom do they congregate in great numbers of their own species. They're solitary. But just as soon as I say that, there's an exception to every rule. And the Harris hawk is just such an exception. They live in family packs comprised of mom, dads, brothers, and sisters. And for that reason, they're considered, or get the nickname, wolves of the sky. To fly in front of an esteemed audience, such as TEDxSavannah, is a great example of trust. And when we think about trust, let me do this. I want to bring out, actually, not a wolf, but man's best friend, one that we all know, dogs. Coop, come. Come. Coop. Oh, stretch it out. It's Coop. Coop. Sit. Up. Down. Sit. Here. Up. Oh, good dog, good dog. Okay, place. This is freedom, a bald eagle, and the symbol of the United States. This photograph that you're looking at was actually the photograph when they found freedom. He was approximately 3 months of age, knocked out of the nest, had an injury to his beak. So they ran him off to the Florida Audubon Center for Birds of Prey in Maitland, Florida, where they nurtured him back to health, but they determined that the injury was such that he could never be re-released back into the environment. So it's estimated that, believe it or not, approximately 50% of young eagles don't even make it to the first birthday. And perhaps as little as 10% make it to 5 years or adulthood. So the decision was made to find a home for him where he could live his best life. And that's where Georgia Southern University comes into play. Now you say, why Georgia Southern University? Well, I got to take you all the way back to 1990. Our football team was in a playoff game, and a bird of prey flew over the stadium. And the announcer said, there's Georgia Southern's mascot. But as fate would have it that day, it was not a bald eagle. It was a turkey vulture. So, 1997, well, I will say this, that a gentleman, a businessman, an alumni of the university came to me and he said, Steve, as a falconer, do you think we can get an eagle at Georgia Southern University? So I made a few phone calls to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the Department of Natural Resources, and found out that we, in fact, would be permitted to have a bald eagle. And move forward to 1997, we opened the doors to the Center for Wildlife Education. With a focus on raptors, we were in search for the right eagle. And when I say the right eagle, I don't mean just an eagle that could fly at the stadium. For sure, we wanted that, but we wanted to have an eagle that could serve as an ambassador for nature, but also for this great country of ours. So I wanted to show you this because this is the first eagle I ever held. And I'm just wondering, can you tell if I'm happy in that photograph? And another set of photographs that mean a lot to me. And let me share this with you. That's a much younger Steve and Freedom. You can look at our heads, if you will. I've got actually brown hair, and he's got some brown feathers. That means a lot to him. It tells you how long we've been together. The other photograph was just taken a month ago. I was unloading Freedom, and this woman came up to me, this young woman, and she asked if she might take a photograph with Freedom. And of course, once we snapped the pic, she told me that she had to taken a photograph with him. Last time she had taken a photograph was 20 years ago. Folks, that young girl in that photograph is that young woman all grown up. So, you know, I have an expression that is wisdom is, in fact, experience plus knowledge. I don't know about the knowledge side, but I sure have had a great many experiences, and I'm really honored with that. And I have another photograph that we'll see, which is actually this photograph, and I'm so proud. That's the photograph when Freedom graduated from college, and I'm pretty sure you can guess he graduated with a degree in trust. So, and the image right here I want to focus on for just a moment. If my birds and my falcon can learn to trust one another, and if people are capable of forming trusting relationships with both social and non-social animals, can we learn again to trust in one another? That question was posed by the late, great Marvin Gaye in his 1971 classic song, What's Going On? No, seriously. What's going on? A half a century later, I don't know that we're any closer to answering that question. I think it's a difficult question, and it's a question that requires a courageous conversation that's part history, part science, with a focus on the truth. And speaking of the truth, eagles and birds of prey have evolved over 57 million years. They're not social animals. Freedom is not looking for me to be his best friend. The relationship we have and the trust that we have is all because of operant positive reinforcement. So I simply can expose him to an environment like this, and if anything were to upset him in any way, I just put the hood right back up and make it go away. By comparison, dogs have been by our side for approximately 15,000 years. They're very social animals. They seek to be a member of our pack. And in fact, their interests are served when we are good pack leaders. I don't mean a dictator. I mean a leader that is sensitive to the needs of others and that is willing to make the difficult decisions. You know, any trusting relationship is, he's stealing my show. Any trusting relationship is risky business. According to the CDC, approximately 5.4 million people are bitten by man's best friend every year in the United States. So, let me share with you what I've learned from a natural history lifestyle, that meaning the sport of falconry, and what I've learned about truth. Truth is, first, a process. It cannot be mandated, it can only be earned. Second, the fruits of trust are often seen in the ability to shape the behavior of others, be it man or animal. And because there's always risk involved, we look to truth to help us along that way in that journey. And then thirdly, and I think this is most important, that trust should never be thought to be synonymous with agreeability. Now, why do I say that? I've been married for 40 years to my high school sweetheart, 4 kids, 4 grandchildren later, and for reasons that just totally elude me and not able to be defined by science, my wife often doesn't agree with me. But I will say this, we've been able to stay together for 40 years because of the willingness to have the uncomfortable discussions. And it hasn't always been easy. So, in the words of the philosopher Robert C. Solomon, all trust involves vulnerability and risk, and nothing would count as trust if there were no possibility of betrayal. So it seems to me that there's a tie, if you will, that vulnerability is tied to trust, and that trust is tied to truth. And it's a difficult journey, but we have a great teacher in nature, And I think that's best said in the words of Frank Lloyd Wright, who said, "Study nature, love nature, stay close to nature. Nature will never fail you." So as we depart here today, I want to really challenge you to commit to making a difference, to make a difference in the world right in front of you, not the online community. And now, Coop, come. Coop, come. Good boy, you can come. Coop, sit. Oh, or stretch. That'll work. Sit. Thank you. But I want you to leave here, and I also want you to take risk and make yourself vulnerable. Just as Coop trusts in me, and I trust in Coop, as I trust in freedom, learn to trust in one another. Thank you so much for the privilege of your time and your attention. Thank you.